Hey everyone, it's Lick Friday week 283, and this week is an interesting one in the sense we're starting off with technique in the way of pull-offs, and we're using the natural minor scale, and we're using the A minor pentatonic shapes 2, 3 and 4. So if you want to hear what this lick is, here it comes. There it is, speedy lick in places, but you don't really have to do it at that speed. The nice thing is about Lick Fridays is I've kind of created this series because I want you guys to kind of learn how to play as you. So these are my licks, most of them anyway, are my licks, apart from the series that I put out a little while ago where it's like a stylized thing, where I'm kind of just showing you the way I play and what I would normally put into my jams. And if you find some of these licks too fast or too tricky or just boring, then you can do a couple of things with them. You can sort of churn them out in your own way. So that could be slowing them down. You could be speeding them up if they're too slow. Just experiment with the licks themselves. So you don't have to do the lick as the entire thing. You can just piece it apart and pick it apart, and just take out everything that you want and you like from the lick, and just leave all the stuff that you don't like or you find too hard. It's down to you. So if you want the tab for this, so you can study it in a little bit more in depth, it's on my website, which is up there, dansguitar.com, and also linked below. If you would like to learn more with me and with lessons that you will not find on YouTube, then you can come and visit me on my Patreon page. And also there's jamming tracks on there and other stuff which you won't find on YouTube as well. And it starts at $1 a month, $5, $10 and then $40. So come and have a listen and a look and see what's available on that page. Now that's really all I need to say about this, so let's just get on with that breakdown. So it is straightforward, but there is a bit of a catch in the sense there is an element of speed to this lick over that track itself. You could try and play it at half speed, you could try and slow the thing down, or just play over a slower track, or even play over a faster track, which then makes it feel slower. So many different ways you can tackle this, but the idea is that you've got this lick which elements of it you can put into your own playing. It doesn't matter what speed it's going to be played at, because you can apply them into your own playing as and when you want. And really it's down to you to try and make this work for your style, and that's the idea behind it. Anyway, ramble, let's not do that too much. So we've got the first initial part. So technique, again, you're going to need to be good at your pull-offs. So with this one we're using what would be shape 7 of the major scales in the key of C. Or you are using what would be shape 2 of the natural minors, which is exactly the same thing, but because of the placement of the notes within as far as the root note is concerned, you end up with the major or minor scales. Not going to go into that too much because it gets really boring, but for those that understand it, great. For those that don't, it's not something you really need to know to be able to play the guitar. There you go. So you end up with this pull-off section, which is 12, pull off to 10 and pull off to 8, and then you're going to play the 12th fret on that second string. So the 12, 10, 8 is on the first string, and then you've got that. So it'd be good just to practice, just to make sure that you're getting a nice clean pull off. Now, just technique fest for you that I want to know. I don't know if you can see my wrist well enough there, but see my wrist when I pull off, I end up sort of flicking the wrist. It's not all in the fingers. If you just use your fingers, you're going to end up with some serious tendon problems, and I wouldn't want that upon anybody. So once you've done that 12th fret on the second string, you're coming down to the 8th fret on the first string, sliding that, this is another nice little techniquey bit, sliding that down to the 7 on that first string, coming diagonally across to the 8 on the second, to the 9 on the third, switching matching fingers to the first finger on that 8th fret on the 2nd string, and then you've got the 10th fret on the 2nd string with a bit of vibrato. So that first part of the lick, or the first bar, is now you can hammer on the 8 to the 10, or you can pick it. But it's kind of important to try and get that vibrato added in, just because it's that flavour which you're going to need, really. Right, then the next part is it's the tricky bit. So it's the fast bit where you've got. So you're working up on this one just through the pentatonic scales. So you started with the natural minor, and now you're working up for the pentatonic scales in the key of A minor, which is shape 2, into shape 3, into shape 4. Doing 2 strings at a time. So you've got only the first 2 strings on this as well, so that's rather nice because it gives you a nice sort of linear movement through those shapes 2, 3 and 4, just on those 2 strings, and that works well just running along all the pentatonics if you want to sort of broaden it out and make it a little bit more of your own in that sense. So you've got the 8, I would hammer onto the 10, pick the 8, and that's on the 2nd string, pick the 8 on the 1st string, pick the 10 and then pull off back to the 8 on that 1st string, and then you'll pick the 10 on the 2nd string. Now that kind of hammer on and picking side of things is the same through each one of those. So it's hammer, pull off. Now, one thing you can do to try and build your speed with this is short, sharp bursts of like, and really try your hardest to make that you can do all of those pentatonics, the whole lot if you wanted to, just in those sort of like really flinchy, short, sharp bursts. And it's a good way to practice, and it's actually a really good way to try and build speed. So 2 ways of building speed on that is, one is to practice the lick slowly to start, and start to build up your speed as you go through. I can't talk when playing it at speed. So there you go. Okay, so that's your first one. Then purely and simply you take it up to the it's the 3rd shape of the pentatonics. So and that's the first 2 strings. So you end up with 10 hammered onto the 13, and then it's 10, 12, pick, pull off back to the 10, and then you've got 13. So it's, and again, with an exercise on this, you can kind of repeat that round and do the short, sharp burst, just to get used to that. And it's a good idea to make sure that you're kind of comfortable with the way it feels as well as the way it sounds. So if the speed is the issue for you guys, then just keep it slow, keep it even is the key as well. And you're not really going to go far wrong, but everybody's got like a limit to where they can play as far as speed is concerned. So if you can't play it at the speed that it's written down, take your time, build up that speed gradually, and then you will get faster. It's one of those things, you practice something long and hard enough, then it's going to make sure that it actually works. Okay, so the next shape is shape 4, which is, and then you've got 13 on the 2nd hammered onto the 15, so the 12 on the 1st, pick to the 15 and then pull off back to that 12 on that 1st, and then you finish with a 15th fret bend on the 2nd string. So you end up with, okay, so you could do a slow bend, entirely up to you how you make this work. It could be a quick bend, you could even slide up to that next note. All these little things that you can just change this within this lick, just to make it sort of more comfortable for you. You can still play the same notes, but you can change certain aspects just to make it a little bit more comfortable, which is rather nice. So I'll play it for you slow if I can. When I'm playing them slow, that's the hardest part, I find. Anyway, here it goes. So 3, 4, and 1. And there it is. So there we go, the end. Don't know what else to say about it really, apart from enjoy learning it and try and put it into your own playing. Website, Patreon page, all linked up there. Please give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed this lesson and you've reached the end and you thought that was a good lesson. I'm going to give it a thumbs up. Do so, because it all helps with the algorithms of YouTube world. And share, like and subscribe. There you go. Bell button. Ding dong. See you later. See you next week.